Tired of winning the tailgate, but losing the games? We can't help that. But we can tell you what the hell is up with each team and what's going on across sunny San Marcos. Texas State fans, get on your feet. You're listening to Squarin' Around with Jacob Rodriguez and Andrew Zimmel.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Squarin' Around. My name is Jacob Rodriguez. That's the Texas State Sports Prez, Andrew Zimmel. And this is Squarin' Around. Except it's also not really, because this is like a new venture for us called Square Talks, where we're talking to kind of the most important people from the athletics department. We're talking to coaches. We're talking to players. We're talking to Alex Powell, the director of creative media at Texas State football.
How's it going, guys? I wouldn't probably put me up there with important athletics people, but I appreciate y'all wanting me on, man. So happy to be here.
No, we're easing into it. We're easing into it. That's what That's what he
You're
meant.
probably like one of the hardest working people, though. Like around this time, especially with National Signing Day.
Yeah, man. Let's see. I went home for Christmas. I got back January 3rd, and then I probably did not have a break from about then until yesterday. So, it's been about stressful long past month, but get the signing class done, on to spring ball now. Kind of take it easy right now. So,
what's that like? As the names can come in, and you don't really do you know any of these guys as they're coming in? You're like, I have photos, I got to throw it together.
Yeah. So I was at Indiana State before this, which is an FCS program in the Missouri Valley. And so, when we were recruiting kids there, they'd come to me with names. I'd be like, I have no idea who this is. Luckily, here at Texas State, especially now with kind of the emphasis the new staff's been put on recruiting, we're getting a lot more guys that I know. Like Malik Hornsby, I knew who that was. There's been a few guys that I'm like, oh, I finally know who that is. So, but for the most part, there's still a lot of the high school kids I don't really know. I'm not from Texas. I'm from Iowa originally. So, I'm still learning the high schools and kind of where everything's at and all that stuff. But, I get a text from Connor Anderson, our director of player development. He says, hey, so-and-so committed. And he's like, so then I had to go do a committed graphic and then get their signing day stuff and then text Evan King, our video coordinator, be like, hey, this kid just committed. Can we make sure the video's ready and all that stuff? And send it off to Chris Coots, our SID, and then he posts it. And then that's kind of the process for one kid. So now, we just signed 33. So imagine that, 33 times. So yeah, it gets to be a lot, but it's what I signed up for.
I can tell you, the Missouri Valley Football Conference, what's it like being back in Texas? Because it's real cold right now. Yeah, man. I moved down here and I was like, because before I went to Indiana State, I was going to go to Arizona State just because I hate the cold. I hate the winter. I'm from Iowa. I've lived and grew up in Iowa my whole life. I still don't like it, and so I was like, I'll go to Arizona State. I hadn't even been in the state of Arizona. I was like, I know it's warm down there. Seems like a good school, so come down, I get this offer from Texas State, come down here, like, yes, don't have to deal with the winters anymore, whatever. And then wake up the other morning and it's 20 degrees and everything's frozen. I was like, what is this? I didn't sign up for this. It's not the same. It's not the same, Alex.
Nah, it's a little cold. It was 20 degrees, but it was weirdly cold. It comes out, it punches you in the face. Obviously in Iowa, I had to go to school in -5-degree weather sometimes, so it wasn't that bad, but it was still I'm not a huge fan of this right now,
Currently 2 degrees.
So it's awesome. I can deal with the cold.
Currently 2 degrees for your weather check from North Dakota. That's fine.
Are you living in North Dakota right now?
Yeah, man.
Oh,
yeah.
Really? Okay. Sweet. Yeah. That's awesome. We played at North Dakota State 2 seasons ago. My last year with Indiana State.
Shout out the Fargo Dome, man.
Awesome environment. Loved Fargo.
It's a weird smell. People don't understand that. We can talk about it's like that weird. They have that weird chestnut deal that they do, and if you've never smelt it before, it comes at you, and you're talking about getting hit in the face. It hit me in the face hard the first time. It smells like a truck stop a little bit.
My freshman year, sorry to keep bringing up Indiana State, but my freshman year at Indiana State, we played at UNI, which was my first time back in Iowa since I moved. And I remember buses pull up to the hotel, everybody's getting off the bus, and all of a sudden all the players like, what's that smell? It smells like cow shit, and I was like, yeah, that's Iowa, man. I deal with this every morning. When I was in high school, I woke up, go to school, walk in, and it smelled like farms. It's not the best, but that's why you stay inside most of the days.
So what does San Marcos smell like compared to that?
Heaven. So
stale cigarettes.
Stale cigarettes, stale alcohol, stale beer. If you're at the square at a certain time, it doesn't smell great, but I love it down here, man. It's awesome.
I was going to say, you talked about wanting to go to Arizona State. They say Texas State's the Arizona State of Texas. So
I believe
what the hell?
I believe it. That's awesome. And I was telling my parents, because I'm only 21 years old, and so I moved down. Like I got hired April 27th. I turned 21 on May 22nd. So I was 20 years old my first month, kind of employed here. And I never been to San Marcos, never been to this part of Texas. Been to Austin, but that's as far like this way. Moved down here, kind of feel out the town a little bit, and I was like, oh, this place is awesome. Like, the perfect place for a 21-year-old kid to kind of start exploring the world a little bit on his own.
21-year-old creative too. That's the other thing that you're dropping off there. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I've been around for a second. I don't know how much you guys know about me. I've been doing this since I was 15 years old. So been around for a minute,
We got the scouting report. Okay.
Awesome.
We did our due diligence for sure.
Awesome. That's awesome. I appreciate it.
Yeah, Jacob puts the capital J into journalism.
Hell yeah. Sweet, man.
And I just give Zimmel as my mouthpiece, basically. Yeah, that's
good. That's awesome.
So this is pretty much from his website, too. So I'm just going to read verbatim and embarrass Alex. But
okay.
Alex Powell is a 21-year-old artist from Indianola, Iowa. His design career started at the age of 13 doing edits on his phone for fun. At 14, he purchased Photoshop as an attempt to create better graphics for followers on Instagram. By the age of 15, Alex was already the lead creative for a Division I football program. Insane. And he's gotten like national attention for this too.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I've been, you probably saw the Athletic article they wrote on me when I was 17 years old. I was right in the middle of football season or basketball season, actually. I remember like going and my coach was like giving me shit about it, and I was like, I don't know, like it was pretty cool to me. Guys like bust balls. All my friends love busting my balls. They love what I do. They appreciate the work, but sometimes they can't make sure your head gets a little too big sometimes. So.
Yeah, no, you're in the right spot for that, bud. You're in the right spot for that. They make sure your head doesn't get big.
Yeah, which is perfect, man. Humility is something that I really value, and so when I ever feel myself kind of getting a little too cocky, I got to really wheel myself in, trying to stay humble a little bit. So.
I call Jacob for that, or I just go on Twitter and see what they're saying about how I dress. That's how that's how I keep humble. Shout out to Texas State Twitter. So how did we end up with you? How did Texas State end up getting a big fish? Because that's something that I think we're kind of getting on that trend here. We like the Dempus or the Kelly hire, we like the Kenny hire, we like the Powell hire. How's that happen?
Appreciate it. Yeah, man. So I was with Portland State for 3 years in high school, graduated, was supposed to go play football at William Penn University. Ended up getting an offer from Indiana State to come.
What position?
Cornerback. So I was a DB. So, I was only a 5'8" white kid, weighed about 160 pounds, so I was like, it was an NAIA football, I was just happy to kind of fulfill that childhood dream. But, I'm a realist too. So I was like, probably not going to be pursuing the NFL here at William Penn College in Oskaloosa, Iowa. Love William Penn. Shout out everybody there. I have so much love and respect for everybody there. Appreciation, but they only have one NFL guy ever. And it was Damon Stacks Harrison, who had a really good career, but still, probably this was the better career path for me. But
he could have been the second, though. He could have been the second.
True, very, very true. The next Jason Keyhorn or something. So.
Ooh, I like that. I was gonna say sprinkling the facts here, and also a white DB. That's like a unicorn, man.
Yeah. Shout out. I'm from Iowa, big University of Iowa guy. Shout out Riley Moss. He's at the Senior Bowl right now. Probably going to be the next Jason Sehorn. So kind of keep an eye out there if you're interested. But yeah, man.
Heard it here first.
Yeah. What was at Indiana State for? Went there 2019. Was there until not this past fall, but last year of 2021. I was working full time. So imagine what I do here, but like I have a team here. It was just me doing all the photo or the video or the graphics. If we had a recruiting visit, I'm the one that has to set up the set and do all this. And then I was doing all this while going to school full time, so as a freshman, sophomore, junior, it gets to be a lot. Took him another job, just kind of making an internship with PFF, make a little money on the side. Mental health really took a big hit. You're as a 18, 19, 20-year-old kid, you're working as much as like a middle-aged man or something like that. It gets to be a lot. So mental health really took a hit. Ended up failing out of college actually about 2 years ago. So I tried to go back. I wanted to go back. They told me no. So they said they don't want you. So went home for about 6 months, just to kind of see the right doctors, get my mind right, start going to therapy, all that stuff, make sure I'm back in a good space. Finally got that right. And my parents were like, so, what's next? What are you thinking? I was like, I don't really want to go back to school. I never really liked school. It's never been my thing. And I've been very, very fortunate to start my career really, really early. And I was 21 years old with 5 years of experience under my belt, working for 2 different college football programs. So I was like, I feel I'm ready. All I need now is a chance. So I started applying to all these jobs. Got a lot of no's. You'd be amazed of how many people want you to have a degree. So that was a big red flag for a lot of people. But I say it all the time. It's not about the no's, it's about the yeses. And finally, Texas State gave me a yes. And James Sherman, our director of player development, he was the one that kind of interviewed me. I hopped on a phone call with him. A couple days later, on a Zoom call with a few of the other people. And next thing I know, I'm here in San Marcos. So, like I said, all I needed was an opportunity, and they gave it to me here, and I'm so grateful. I'm so thankful to be here and as a Bobcat in San Marcos. I told my parents all the time. I knew when I get that opportunity, I'm going to take it and run. That's always who I've been. It's always who I'm going to be. So I feel like I've really made an impact here, and I haven't even been here for a full year yet. And I feel like I've already made an impact. And when I got hired at Indiana State, the head coach told me to leave this place better, and you found it. And that's something that I've taken with me everywhere I've gone. No matter whether it's graphic design or school or no matter what I'm doing, I'm trying to leave it better, and I found it. I feel like I've done that here at Texas State. So
that's such a
damn, Jacob, we got a good one.
Story. Yeah, that was awesome. Look, the first one for the Square Talk is pretty good. I wanted to, Alex, on your resume, it says that you were hired specifically at Texas State to kind of like revamp and rejuvenate and get everything all gassed up. I can tell you from covering this team from the past 4 or 5 years, this is completely different from stuff that we've seen. Your stuff is amazing.
I appreciate it, guys. It really means a lot.
So what was that kind of process like behind the scenes? Getting the right stuff, getting the right people, and just surrounding yourself with success.
Yeah, so I moved down here in June. I worked kind of remotely just while I was kind of gathering all my stuff and getting ready to move down here. Got here about June 6th. Met with James Sherman, Connor Anderson, just kind of trying to see where we're at. Kind of where Zach Cordaji. He's now currently the creative producer for the 33rd team. I don't know if you guys know that, but I'm a huge fan of his work. He was only here for a few months, but he really established the foundation here. He really kind of was the one that James Sherman helps me a lot, so I'll probably mention his name a lot through this. Just that's up, but he's the one that really told them kind of, hey, this is what kind of a successful creative program looks like. Getting the right equipment, getting the right strategies, kind of game plan and everything. So Zach Cordaji really laid the foundation for me. He, greener pastures, he moved on to bigger, better things. So, that moving in me into this role, my thing was, I came from Indiana State, and like I said, I was doing everything there. I was doing all the photo, all the video, all the graphics. And I told him, I was like, I can do that here, but I'd be a lot better. The stuff's gonna be a lot better if I had some people helping me out. So, thankfully enough, Evan King, our video coordinator, awesome, one of the best in the entire country. He was getting interested. He wanted to work in creative video a little bit. So I was like, that's perfect. Now I don't have to do any of the video stuff. Now I just have to focus on graphics and photo. Evan kind of spearheads a lot of that video stuff. I'm always there helping him. I'm always giving changes. I'm always, I think he's probably getting tired of me these past few weeks and be like, hey man, this would be a really cool video if we did this, right? Because I'm not the one that has to do it, he has to do it. But so Evan kind of helps out with the video side of it. And then next I knew that part of that was love it here at Texas State. Not the biggest program. We don't really have enough money to kind of support a full creative staff like some of these bigger programs do. Even in the Sun Belt, I know Coastal Carolina has a really, really good graphics program there with some full-time people. But so the loophole I try to work around was, let's get some students in here, some talented students. Pay them as much as we possibly can, and so part of that, they already had a couple, Hunter Mancuso and Ek Query, 2 graphic design students for him. Ek does video, photo. Kid's insanely talented. And then Hunter Mancuso, who helps me out with design, really trying to get him in with the photo. But those guys were already here. Met with them, be like, hey man, here's kind of my idea. They weren't on campus yet, so it was like, whenever you guys get on campus, let me know and we'll meet and kind of get this thing going. And from there, I knew I kind of wanted to recruit some more video people, some more photographers. Vanessa Buenteo helped us out this season. Visuals by Vanessa on Twitter and Instagram. Fantastic photographer. She's looking for a job. If you're looking to hire a photographer, reach out to Vanessa. She's awesome. She's incredible. And then Derek Russell, we're going to get him for another year, thankfully. He's my other kind of photographer guy who's one of the best I've seen. The kid's insanely talented. He's a lot like me, where he's been doing this since he was 13 years old too. We're actually the same age. But
what's that like for you? What's that like for you? Like working with people who are your age or maybe even a little bit older in some circumstances?
Very weird. Because I just mentioned Vanessa. Vanessa's 23, so Vanessa's Derek's only a couple of months older than me. Vanessa's 2 years older than me. So it's weird, and it's a challenge at first because whenever you're a young guy coming into a situation where you have some leadership, you want to let them know that you know what you're doing. And so my big thing is I value these open, honest relationships, and so I'm like, hey man, like here's who I am. If you guys have any, I'm gonna try and treat you guys the best I can. I know we can't really pay you as much as some other schools might be able to, but what I can give you is I can give you, first class mentorship. For me, I've been around for a second. I know how this industry works. I know where it's going for the most part. Like I know I got a lot of connections. I can help out. Give you a lot of gear. Can travel. We have meals catered to us and stuff like that. And so. Um, them letting them know that I know what I'm doing. I'm not just some slappy that they hired to do a job because they needed it to. Like, hey man, I've been around, and for them, and I don't blame them at all. You could tell it kind of took them a second to get around, and be like, hey, I'm older than this guy. Why is he the one telling me what to do? But I'm a big guy. I feel like as long as you treat people right, they're gonna treat you right. So I make sure I treat these interns right and make sure I give them ample opportunities to kind of have success, to kind of build their portfolio, to kind of experience what it's like being kind of a full-time creative at a Division I university, and so just kind of letting them know that, hey, like I know what I'm doing, and I got your best interest at heart, and like I said, I value open communication. So if they ever have a problem with me, I tell them, come find me, come let me know. We'll sit down, we'll talk about it, and we'll figure out where it went wrong. But kind of a long way to answer your question, but something like that.
I think a good graphics department can kind of like solve a lot of the bad stuff that's happening on the field or on the court. Like, because if you're making cool content, like, it's kind of like the dangly keychain in front of the baby. You know what I mean? The house might be on fire, but I love those keys.
Absolutely. South Carolina is the best side in the entire country, I think. South Carolina football hasn't really been too much right home about the last few years, but if you look at their content, they're consistently the best in the entire country. Justin King, their head guy over there, is probably the best in the entire country. So that's kind of, we kind of look at these other schools, kind of see what they're doing, because obviously we didn't have a lot of success at Indiana State when I was there. We didn't have a lot of success at Portland State when I was there, and unfortunately, we didn't have a lot of success my first year here while I was here.
Hold on, I don't like that. Hold on, backtrack that. Could it be you?
My mom said the same thing, or maybe I'm kind of the kiss of death. But to me, I just like to think that, like, hey, here are these programs that haven't had a lot of success that are just looking for someone to help, move that needle a little bit. And, I'm try to stay humble, but I'm very confident in my abilities. I know how good I am. I know what I can do. I know, kind of where I stack among everybody else in the country. And so even if I can just give that little boost on Twitter and Instagram with a cool graphic here and there, then I think I'm at least helping this program out. Maybe not indirectly on the field, but at least just getting back at people's good graces.
Well,
I don't know.
Zimmel sees a record book immediately when he sees you. I see Bob the Builder. So, there we go.
Well, you mentioned you played DB, and we got like 7 of them, so I don't think you'll see any playing time here, Alex.
Yeah, well, actually, funny about that, my freshman year at Indiana State, we had so many, like all of our cornerbacks got injured, so we were pulling practice squad guys. We had a kid that was supposed to gray shirt he's a freshman, like he was supposed to gray shirt, and we were like, hey man, are you in shape? Can you come play? Because we need corners. And so like I legitimately like went up to our DFO at the time, like seriously, I was like, hey man, like if you guys need it, I can run some practice squad or something like that. Like I was like, I don't know what to do, but like I was like, I can play corner. Like I can let the receivers catch 100 balls on me all day. Like that's really easy.
I know what cover 2 is. I got it. Yeah, I'll figure it out.
Yeah. I was like, I can run, man. I can jam, whatever. And so unfortunately here they probably won't need my help, but once upon a time I was like, hey, like I'm here if you need it. So
I don't know. You got to bring the track shoes. You bring the cleats to the photo stuff. I mean, who knows?
Yeah, man. Like I'm ready to go whenever. If
it sounds like you still got 2 years of eligibility. So
yeah. I got eligibility left. So yeah, if Kenny needs me to suit up for a game, I'm right here, man. He's got my number. So
I love it. Do we want to talk about the infamous graphic that I've gotten a lot of flack for here, Jacob?
Oh, that's also an athletic thing. It was the A- graphic for the coach grade at the athletic game. So Zimmel has this thing where he doesn't believe that anything should be made unless it's like for specific bragging purposes, But how do you feel about an A-?
I just said that an A-, I don't know if a graphic would be made, but that's me. But
it's still an A though.
No, it's not. It's an A-.
Yes, it is. It's an A.
Yeah, it's just not a 95. It's a 94, right?
Yeah, so that's what we asked. We said, would a B make it? Would a B make a graphic, or does it have to be an A- the bar? I said A would be my like level because you don't know if it's an A+ or A- level. You throw A on there, it's like, we got an A. But A- shows that there are 2 other like A's that could have been had. That's where my point was coming from.
I get where you're coming from. I think with that graphic, it's a little different. I think you have to use it in context too. If you look at that list, we had the 3rd best group of 5 higher. Only 2 other schools. I think I forgot what the other two schools were. Oh, UNLV was one, and then Liberty. I think Liberty got an A+, and I think UNLV also got an A- or something like that. But we were the third best group of 5 hires. So, little context with that. I think you kind of understand the A- actually is a good grade. They only gave out 3 A's, and we were one of them. So out of like 10 schools, I think it was. So, and also, you talk about not a lot of success here recently. I think I'm a big guy that I think anything that you can to celebrate it, especially with the new staff and everything like that. We want to put Coach Kenny out in front of people as much as possible, letting them know that not only are we excited about this hire, but everybody else is excited about this hire too. Sports writers and respected people amongst that, like that was from The Athletic that wrote that article, so I completely understand what you're saying. Trust me, I read all the comments. I see all the comments. I see all the replies. I see all the flack. I really try and take it to heart and really try to build off of it. But fortunately, I think I got to side with Texas State Creative on this one.
I don't think. Well, yeah, no kidding. There, that comes as a real shock to me. You would side with them. No, but it's like so there. But I don't think it's been a lot of flack. I think that there have been other years previously where there has been a lot, and I don't think this year. Just doing a gauge here, I don't think it's been that bad. Do you?
Obviously I haven't experienced past few years. Obviously this was kind of a rough first year for me to come in as a social media guy. I don't want to talk about the past too much, but
well, tell me your favorite tweet that you've gotten so far.
My favorite tweet?
Yeah, it doesn't have to be good or bad. Just what's one that you were going through the comment section, you go, oh, okay, that's a pretty good one. That's kind of funny.
Do you want to know? Do you seriously?
Yes. Yeah, hell yeah.
Let me pull it up because I was.
He's got these bookmarked like a wallpaper video.
That's his motivation.
It's his lock screen like Trout when he had that record on his phone.
You guys are gonna get a kick out of this. Hold on, I gotta find this tweet real quick. Well, like 6 seconds.
Somebody's gonna get a really good shout out here on the podcast too. That's what I'm not more excited about, but that's what I'm excited about here too.
My thing too, I guess, on the part of graphics making, if everybody's making their own, like everybody's basically making their own rules right now, right? With rankings and other stuff. We have a Texas State guy who's making his own. Ranking system.
Recruiting website. Yeah, he's got his own recruiting website. Yeah.
So, I mean, if everyone's just throwing around stuff, why not? Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, and that's my thing too. Is like you want to realize kind of who the good sources are, who aren't. Obviously, if Joe Schmo's blog that still has like .wordpress in its name on, if he's like, oh, GJ Kinney, B+ hard, then we're not going to make a graphic about that guy. but
hold on, but if that guy gave you an A+, would you make a graphic? That guy said A+.
Anybody that has .wordpress still in the website title, probably not.
Okay,
buy the domain. Buy the domain.
Yeah, buy the domain, and we'll think about it. So.
Okay, all right. See, like a little bit of a standard there. That's good.
I got the tweet pulled up. This is from September 3rd, 2022. It says, "I don't want to see another hype video from Texas State football ever again."
Hey, that's me. That's so funny.
And then I don't know if you can see it. Our intern Kirby, the kid's insane. He just turned 18 years old in November, but responded it with the highlight tape. It's not focused.
And then the next game they lost. I just want to say that they did lose the next game. So
hey man, I'm just making the graphics here, But
he's like, I don't call the plays. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, but that's actually really funny because I did like want to bring. I was like, I think that's the guy that had that tweet, that Kirby quote tweeted.
Dude, I got a lot of love for that. I had like 100 likes and stuff on it.
Really?
Yeah. Kirby tweeted at me, and I was like. Yeah. Whatever.
Well, you know what? This
must be his first season on the team because I know how this is going to go.
This just goes to show you. This just goes to show you that negativity on the internet will get you love, but positivity, like Alex brings here, gets you on a podcast. So be more positive.
Yeah. Hey man, it's a new season, new guys, new staff. Everything's new graphics. Everything's going to be great. Man.
I can't tell you how excited you just made me because I thought for sure that was going to be like one of those I messed up and then you guys dunked on me. But you dunked on Jacob, which makes it so much better. I'm so happy.
Because I'm not a very volatile person on the internet. So.
No. He plays it safe. He plays it too safe. I'm out here giving opinions, takes, be right, be wrong. I'm willing to take it. Jacob, he'll tweet. And, normally it's objectively, it's people agree. People are all on the same page here. So the fact that he tweeted that you guys dunked on him,
I'm a news guy with sports guy tendencies. So, I try and stick to the straight and narrow. But
I
canceled my ESPN Plus membership after the first game last year. And I was like, I'm done. I'm so mad at that team. And then they won that one game and Kirby dunked on me. And then the next week I was like, crickets.
Yeah, I think that was FIU, I think maybe. I think that was no.
Yeah.
That was the next week. That was the next week. Yeah, and I didn't even tell him to do that. I was just scrolling on Twitter one day and I was like, "Oh God, Kirby post tweeted it," and I was like, "That's pretty funny, Kirby. I can."
And then I was like, "Oh, this is great. This is a great video. Wonderful."
Yeah, you had like a really positive response to it too. So I was like, "Shit, man, fuck. I thought we were gonna get him this time, you know." But
nah, nice guy, Jacob. I'm telling you.
yeah, man, I love it. So
Yeah.
So you talked about this a little bit, but I mean, Zimmel can tell you this too, just how like volatile being a sports journalist is, and trying to make your way through that kind of deal. And it sounds like being a creative in that space is also really tough too. You know, your first jobs are really shitty usually, and you're trying to kind of make a name for yourself, and you usually got multiple jobs, multiple streams of income. Can you talk about kind of that a little bit too?
yeah, I mean, I've been talking about this recently a lot too, just with other creatives, other people in the space, you know, the interns too, is like, where is college creative going to go? Where is what's the next step for kind of what I do here? Because there's so much more money coming into this sport, whether it's TV deals, conference alignment, whatever it is, NIL, there's so much new money, you know, and so I find it really hard to believe that we're not going to get a lot of that, you know, and so maybe it might be 5 years, maybe 10 years, maybe 15, but you know, I really think that there's a lot of new income coming here. I compare it a lot to strength staffs. Like 15 years ago, you know, a college football strength staff might have 3 people, 2 full-time, maybe a GA. You know, they might have 1 or 2 assistants here or there, but for the most part, it wasn't really anything to write home about. Now these big schools have not only like buildings that are just dedicated to sports performance, but they have training staff, strength staff, speed staffs, nutritionist staffs, you know, and all these staffs are going to have like 5 people. And these are the big schools, obviously here at Tech State, or a lot of schools in Sunbelt don't have that. Not yet, but you know, that's where I kind of see college creatives going, is I think eventually you're going to get all this new money. And I think you're going to have at least a full-time person for video, full-time person for graphics, photo, and social media. And then everything under that might be, you know, kind of just the student assistants, full-time things, all that. So that's where I think it's going to go. As far as where I've been, you know, like I said, I've been in this since 15. So I've been, Louisville reached out to me when I was 15 years old, being like, "Hey, can you come, you know, work for us?" And I spent all day putting together an email and a website and all this stuff. And I was like, "Here you go. Yeah. Like, what do you guys want to talk about?" And they're like, "Wait, how old are you?" And I was like, 15. And like,
Yes.
Yeah, we can't hire you. So, you know, I was around when like these schools didn't have anybody. I was DMing USC football on Instagram, be like, "You guys want me to do work for you? Because like I can do better than your guys' stuff." But so it's hard because pay obviously isn't there yet.
Would you make a graphic for it? If you had to give it on an A to F scale, would it make a graphic?
What? Sorry.
Would you be able to make a pay if it was rated from A to F? Would it be willing to make a graphic for it?
If this was like Texas, no. But at Texas State, I think it's definitely an affordable salary.
Okay. Look at that. That's good.
I think I do get paid at least enough to
warrant a graphic.
You know? Yeah. So
that's all we wanted to hear. That's great. I'm happy for you.
But there's places around the country that obviously there's people that do a better job than I do that aren't getting paid as much as I do, which in my opinion, you know, is really strikes a nerve with me, because just you see so much talent, so much hard work goes into this stuff. You know, being around it, you like, I understand how much time goes into this stuff. You know, I understand how much brain power and stress can be. You know, and so there's a lot of people out there that aren't getting paid fairly. And I think, like I said, I think these wages are raising. One thing that's really cool, I think, is you see a lot of these creatives in the Twitter sphere. You know, if a bad job gets posted with a bad salary, you know, those ratios are really, really bad. You know, so I think kind of this public pressure from creators be like, "Hey, man, we're important. Pay us like we're important." You know,
but I'll tell you, a tweet does not pay. You know what I mean? A tweet's not gonna change it. Do you think it changes the US?
One tweet doesn't. 75 tweets does.
Okay.
You know, I'm not gonna put out any examples, but I do know of one recent position that was, you know, a really, really low salary, and people complain about it, and they raise it $10,000, you know, right after. So, and all about that too is finding the right place. You know, you hear it a lot. We're going to creative. Don't chase a logo. Don't chase a helmet. Don't chase a uniform. And it's because that doesn't matter. What matters is where you're going to be the happiest. Who's going to, you know, really appreciate you and all the hard work and stuff you put in. Where you're going to be appreciated the most. And for me, that was here at Texas State. This is where I'm appreciated the most. This is where I really feel. Appreciate you guys. This is where I really feel happy at. This is where I feel like, you know, every work I do, every piece I put out is going to get the amount of love and respect that I feel it deserves. And not only that from the public and the fans, but just, you know, James Sherman, Connor Anderson, Evan King, you know, these guys really did really good job of just making me feel like I belong here, making me feel like I'm a part of this staff. You know, at Indiana State, obviously I was a student, so it was a little hard to fit in with the the stats, especially being so young, because everybody else is so much older than you. You know, Evan sharing an office with him, he's 3 years older than me, and so you know, it's still there's still some weird stuff. He's like, what are you talking about, man? You know, it's like, you know, you missed that boat. So, but I think where the industry is going is really, really, really good. And it really saddens me seeing people leave it. You know, people that are tired of the long hours, are tired of the bad pay, are tired of the like appreciation. You know, because that happens everywhere. I've heard some pretty bad stories about that. But I think if you can really find your place and a place that you're going to fit in and belong and you can call home, then I think Tech State, like for example, is really a place where I feel I can grind it out until these salaries are really where they deserve to be. You know, because we're putting in hours just like position coaches, just like the GAs, just like the sports staff, and there's a lot of brain power that goes into it too. I don't think a lot of people realize that. That was my biggest thing at Indiana State, where I'd go to class from 9 to noon, go to work until from like 1 to 5, and then I would go home and do homework all night. So I would not stop using my brain. I'm just constantly thinking of, what I got to write for this essay, what I got to do for this graphic. Oh God, I don't understand this homework. What do you mean? Stuff like that. And so I think it's a really mentally taxing. I think that's why you see so much burnout too. It's just because it's hard to stay.
I think that's just sports media in general. And I tell people that who are trying to get into to just go in from being a play-by-play guy, be a journalist or whatever. And I don't know, Jacob, you can probably add on to this too. I say that the beginning is the worst part because it is just, you're 21, I'm 25, Jacob's 24. It is that first couple of years, they're going to grind you. You're going to get grinded. And that's just what the deal is. But the thing is that at the end of the tunnel, when you turn 33, 35, whatever, that is when it's going to be hopefully a little bit easier. That's when you get like the job that you want. That's when you get the salary you deserve. That's when you get like where you want to be the happiest. I'm really happy that you ended up where you're at. Jacob's in the same boat. I think he's pretty happy where he's at. Some of us aren't.
I get it. I get it completely, man. I was at Portland State. I was in high school, so I would go to school all day. I was in 4 sports, played football, basketball, track, soccer. I would go to practice until 6 o'clock. I'd go home, eat dinner, and then, all right, see you guys. I got work I got to do. I got signing day graphics. I got social graphics I got to do, so I was working on it. It was a grind, man. I was looking back on it. I was like, how did I do that for 3 years? That's crazy because I'm just exhausted all the time. And I think that has to do with me just working so hard, grinding all that back then, but and I'm sorry to hear you're not really too happy about where you are right now, Andrew, but I promise, like, once you put in that work, somebody's going to recognize it. And then,
once you put in that work, Zimmo, somebody
thanks, Alex. I'll put in more work.
Well, not that you have it. I'm sorry. I'm really, really sorry. But it's not about who says no, it's about who says yes, brother. Like, eventually you're going to get your big break, and I know you're going to take it and run with it.
Thanks, Alex.
Hey, man, I'm here to support you guys too.
Motivational speech right here. I love it. Love it. No, this is good. Thank you. I appreciate it.
You guys do good work. I know you guys are both going to have long, successful careers. Don't shortchange yourself at all, man. You'll get the break. I know it.
I'll be honest. I think about giving this up every day. Not the podcast, just like media in general, because you're saying, it's such an industry-wide issue. Like what I do is nothing compared to what y'all do because, media has been around for a long time. They've always had news people. But just now, sports people are trying to get the respect that, basic like needs met pretty much.
Yeah, I think a bit of that has to do, not to be the old social media guy, but everybody's trying to go viral right now. Like everybody's trying to go viral. I don't know, every time, even every time I tweet, I'm like, this is going to do numbers, and it never does. but everybody's trying to go viral, and so I think that's part of that mentally taxing piece is because that whenever you with this no context college football stuff, like I feel a lot of people.
Oh yeah, you got a lot of love.
Yeah, but that really got my name out there. People knew the guy behind the graphic. They knew he's been doing all this stuff, and it's not a big break by say, but it definitely put my name out there, and so I think everybody's kind of chasing that, and it just happens by accident sometimes. You can't. Not every tweet's gonna be viral. Not every graphic's gonna get 1,000 likes. Not every video you put out is gonna get a lot of love, and so and that's why they call it. Yeah, that's why Kirby. That's why they call it a grind, just because once someday you're gonna wake up and it's gonna hit, and then you're like, oh shit, this is awesome, all the hard work gets put into it. But I think every graphic, if you're trying to make every graphic like it's going to be the next big no context college football one, then I think you're really doing a disservice to yourself and your team. It's about kind of putting out stuff that preaches what your team preaches, what your head coach preaches, and really represents what you are as a program. I think
it's really about consistency too. No, right?
That as well.
You can't just have one good graphic and then the rest of the season be kind of mid. You got to have consistently this is our standard. We have to keep going. And then eventually maybe one of them will take off.
Yeah, and that's like with these Bobcat graphics, man. That's when I'm like, oh shit, like what's next, man? Like people aren't gonna be expecting this every time, right? But I put a lot of challenge on myself. I challenge all of our creative guys, all of our photographers, all of our graphics guys. I challenge every day. Make the next piece you make better than the last. I think my thing is if your next piece is just that much better than your last piece was, 10 pieces in, you're gonna be so much more better than you were 10 pieces ago. And so I think I really look at that constant improvement as kind of a way to keep that consistency. Because if you're consistently trying to improve, then your stuff's going to be pretty consistent. I feel,
We only got you for a couple more minutes here. I wanted to ask, grade our graphic because I think it's pretty great. But I wanted to see what you guys thought. What do you think of the Bobcat or the podcast logo, Alex?
It's a
who made that?
On Fiverr.
On Fiverr?
Yeah.
I mean, I loved it, man. I think I was like, because I know there's a lot of new podcasts around here, the Loco Boco, the Cat's Corner, the You Win Now or Get Bent. Just saying. You guys might have the best logo out of all.
All right.
I have the best logo.
Thank you, Alex. Well, I just want to get people to follow you on all this stuff too. So you can find Alex on at Viking Graphics, that's Viking, and then another G after it, so GG, and then AlexPowell.com or AlexPowellArt.com, right?
Yep, AlexPowellArt.com. You can find me all at Viking Graphics. I'm more active on Twitter than I am anything, but also like I gotta say too, follow all of the interns, Kirby, Derek, Vanessa. Just go on my Twitter. I have them all tagged in multiple tweets. You'll be able to find them. They're easy to find, but those guys are so talented and they do so much for this program. I want them to get that much love as much as I do, So follow those guys. Also, one more thing. I see all the comments. I see all the love. I'm really bad at like replying to people telling me good job. I'm awful at it. And so like, I just want to say like, I see it all. I'm very, 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 very thankful and grateful. And I appreciate all the kind words. To anybody seeing that, I'm very, very, really sorry. I just like it. I don't respond to it. I'm really, really sorry. But I want to say I appreciate it. It means the world to me. So I just had to put that out there.
Thanks, Alex. We appreciate you joining us, man.
Anytime, man. Anytime you guys want me back, I'm here.
Thanks for listening. New episodes out every Thursday. Follow the boys on Twitter. Eat 'em up. Eat 'em up.